We are living in an extraordinary historic moment. That's not a surprise to anyone. And in this historic moment, because of its nature, meditation is more relevant to more people than probably at any other time in history. We could probably say it's no longer a luxury, but a necessity for many who are suffering from the loss of freedom that is being experienced throughout the world by the anxiety, the fear, the paranoia that is being provoked, the uncertainty at all levels of biological life, social life, political life, financial life, existence itself. Everything is in the balance in a time in which no future can be planned, nothing is known. We are in that moment of the indeterminacy that cannot be decided by the ego. The ego has lost its effectiveness, its usefulness as an organ of consciousness. And we require a transcendence to a higher level of intelligence, a higher level of our being that is fearless and that is clear and that is able to navigate this new world that is a dying world and see what is being born and perceive the blessings and perceive the ways to be a giver of blessings in this time of darkness for many. But what is dystopia to the ego may well be utopia for the real self. And so it is this shift of our own paradigm that meditation will bring to us if we are willing to go beyond the ego, to return to the self, to be who we really are, and to abide as that in such a way that our physical and cognitive and emotional capacities become able to serve as a channel for the flow of Shakti, of wisdom, of light, of healing love and compassion. And of that vibrational frequency that can shift a soul out of the illusion that there is a world and to see the truth that there is only consciousness. This is what the perennial philosophy has always taught, the great tradition, the esoteric level of all the religions and spiritual traditions, that there is only one self, one intelligence, one supreme actor, and that all that seems to appear is simply a dream within that consciousness, a simulation of reality, but not real. The world is God inside out. And when we are no longer inside out, when we have gone within and brought that within into the outer, when we have united the inner and the outer, when we have recognized the consciousness that can be a collapsed quantum wave that seems like a world of fixed forms and identities and limited potentialities and contractions of fear and desire and of lostness and confusion, when we can turn that inside out, when we can reveal the light and the love and the joy and the perfection of the poetry of God's heart and mind that are bringing the world to a beautiful conclusion, a beautiful consummation of all possibilities, to allow a world of suffering to die quickly so that a world of peace and love and joy and beauty, goodness and miraculousness can be reborn. But in this transition phase, if one is lodged still in the ego, that part of the consciousness identified with the physical body and identified with the mind that is trapped in language, in the flow of thoughts that are embedded in duality and in the belief that the world is real and not a simulation, not a dream in God's mind, that believes that we are in danger, that believes that we are in some kind of dire circumstances, then that mind will create paranoid vibrational frequencies that produce more negative karma, more suffering, more loss of freedom, more loss of the sattvic capacity to penetrate through the apparent to the real and to enable a fearless encounter with the real to bring us home to the God self from which we have traveled lifetime after lifetime in order to arrive at this end point, this omega point, foretold by every sage and philosopher since the beginning of this Kali Yuga, but that now is being actualized at a time when, ironically, everyone had lost the religious beliefs that had foretold and prophesied all of this, and lost the understanding or belief in goodness and purity and in the reality of God or the self. Now at that very moment in which the darkness of the ego's cynicism and denial of love and of light and of the real, now at that moment we are faced with both the whirlwind of the karmic reaping of what has been sowed by the collective ego, and also at the same time the revelation and the rapture, the bliss of the return of God. Because that's what the ending of the world is. It's the return of the realization that there never was a world but only God, who appears as that singularity of light and power and potentiality that can once again redream the world in its most beautiful form before it was degraded by the ego consciousness that brought the world into its current crisis.